Hello everybody and welcome to this new episode of this LUMION course, in where we will start to work with different libraries as the nature library. As well, we will start working with the transformation panel. We will rotate, we will move the elements, we will scale the elements, and so on. So, first of all, here in the file panel, we will have to go to load. Here we'll click here in Barcelona Pavilion's file in the latest version. Well, now we can see the project as we left in the last episode. So, here we have the Barcelona Pavilion and we have as well the Greek column. First thing I'm gonna do is to delete this Greek column because it is not necessary at all. So, I will go to the Greek column and then here, once we are in the content library menu, here I will use this transformation panel. I will click delete and then I will click this ball for erase it. Good. Now I will zoom out and let's start analyzing how it works, this content library. In the last episode we saw how import and import models, these two options, worked. Now we will jump to this next option, nature. If I click here and I click twice, then the nature library will be open and we will see a lot of different species here just for us to use. So first of all, look that we have here this category, favorites, and then we have a lot of different options like as broadleaf, conifers, palm, leafless trees, grass, plants, flower, cactus, clusters, leaf, forest wood, rocks, and weeds. If I click, for example, in palm, you will see that we have different pages available. If I click in number 3, I will have more and more species. If I click in number 5, I have even more. So, the number of possibilities are so huge. It is important here to remark that LUMION has done a great job in terms of vegetation. Vegetation was always a very hard thing to render because it is needed a lot of geometry for doing the plants. In the past, that meant that we had to spend a lot of time for having a good render when we were using plants, trees, or vegetation. Everything has changed with LUMION. Now we have loads of possibilities available just with one click here in a native library, and at the same time the renderings are super speed. Besides, the quality is so high, so everything is so positive here. I encourage you to have a look around this huge library and be familiar with all the species that you can use for your projects. I would like to add that if you, for example, like this tree, there is a star in the left corner that if you click it, then this species will go to this category, to the category of favorites, and then you will be able to use it much more easier. If we don't want this palm tree to be a favorite anymore, then we have to unclick here at the star, and then in favorites there will be none. So let's go again to the palm category. Let us choose, for example, this species, Alexandra palm large. I click on it and then I move the mouse here and I will have just to click the left button of the mouse at the plane I want to drop my element. Let's say here, for example. If I move again the mouse, the program will give me the possibility of place another copy of this element. But I will say no, so I will click on the escape button. Take into account that this is possible because this button placed, it is already pressed. Once I have finished with my nature library, I will click this button, all, so the library will disappear. Let's move on now to this transformation panel. The first button we have already seen is this place button. It is related with the different library categories. So if we are here, 2 clicks, then I will choose one element and I will place it into my model. Okay. If I jump to the next option, this select button, and you can see that 2 balls appear at the screen. Each ball is related with the model in contact. So this ball is for doing operations with the Barcelona pavilion, and this ball is for doing operations with the palm tree. At this very moment, we can see the two balls because we have selected this option, all categories. So we can see balls from the imported model category and balls from the nature category. Imagine that I click nature category, then I will be able just to see the balls from the nature library. Take notice that when we click this select button, it appears more options here below to help us make different movements with our objects. We will see them a little bit later. It is important as well to be aware of the fact that when we select one element, in this case this palm tree, it appears this menu here. This menu offers us different options. Let's analyze them. First of all, we find this lock for making the object unselectable. If I click here, the ball will become red, and then it will be impossible to do any operation with it. If I want to make the object selectable again, I will click on it again. At the right side, we will find this option for making groups. We will need more than one object for doing this, so this option will be used in the future. Just below we find this label, layer 1. We can unfold it and we will find the different layers already in use. So we will be able to move any object to any layer easily. For example, if I click here, this object, the palm tree, will go to the layer 4 instead of layer 1. If I go again to layer 1, I will move the object to this first layer. And here at the right side, we find this option in where we will be able to select all the things, all the elements, all the geometry in this layer 1. If I click on it, then everything in the viewport will be selected because at this very moment all the geometry is just placed in one layer, in layer 1. In case we want to deselect everything, we will have to go here and press this button, deselect all. I will click again to the palm tree and let's continue analyzing these options. We have here 4 bars. With these bars, the first one, I will modify the transparency of the element. The other 3 bars are for modifying just the color. Finally, we can find this little arrow. We can unfold it and we will find different options. These options are called advanced options. They are very interesting in many cases when the project is much more complex, and we will study them in next episodes. So I will click again a little arrow. Now we will jump to the next option, the rotate option. We will click on it, and as the palm tree is already selected, we will see here these 3 bars for modifying the orientation in the different planes. Here, for example, we are rotating the tree just in the horizontal plane. And here we will rotate the element in the different planes. Take into account that this first bar is related with this red axis, represented always with the letter X. This second bar is related with the green axis, represented always with the letter Y. And this last bar here in LUMION is related with the blue axis, represented with the letter Z. Normally the blue axis, the Z axis, is the vertical one, but here it is the green one. So here is different and you have to take this into account. The next option we can find is the scale button. If I click on it, a new bar will appear and I will be able to change the scale of the element just moving this bar. Look that the numbers can change dramatically and then it can be difficult to control the size of my element. To solve this problem, we can use the shift button while we move the bar. Besides of scaling the element this way, we can just press the ball of the element and move the mouse up or down till we find the scale appropriate for us. Next button we find is the delayed one. If I click on it, then I will have just to confirm the operation, click in the ball, and the element will be erased. Eventually, we find here the undo button. If I click on it, I will undo the last operation, in this case, the delete of the element. Once we have already seen the main operations this transformations panel offers us, we will go again to this select button. When I click on it, we have different options below. First of them, move free. So when I click on the trees bottom and I keep pressed the left button of the mouse, I will be able to move this element freely. That means that when I put the element above any geometry of the viewport, Lumion will recognize that geometry in order to place my element right in that plane. For example, I will change my point of view to make this more understable. Here we can see different planes in this geometry. So I will move this element freely, and when I will put it above this plane, the program will recognize this horizontal plane, and I will be able to drop the element just above it. In case I want to move it here to this plane, it will be the same, so I can move elements to different horizontal planes in a very easy way. Let's put it again in its first position, and let's jump to the next option. Here we find the option called Move Up. If I click on it and I grab this ball, it is clear that now the movement of the element is going to be restricted just to the vertical axis. Look that when I move the element up, I can see a number which is saying to us the height we are getting with our tree. In case we want to be more precise, we have this option, type in. I will click on it, and then this window will appear with the different axes, and I will have to put the number here in the y-axis. Here the y-axis, it is the Z axis normally, so here I will put, for example, 10 meters. 10 meters, and the element has this specific height right now. In case I want to place again this element just above any plane, I will click on Move Free again. I will take this ball and I will put it again easily on the floor. Next option is called Move Horizontal. I am sure that you can imagine what it's gonna do. When I click on this ball right now, the movement is gonna be restricted to this horizontal plane, in this case the ground of Lumion, because it is the one in which the element was placed at the beginning of the movement. Finally, we have this type it button. We have already seen it. So we have already had a general view about this transformation panel. As you can imagine, we will use it constantly, so don't desperate if at the beginning you don't feel so skillful. I promise you will gradually get it step by step. So we will finish this class here, and in the next episode we will start working with these libraries: the fine detail nature, the people and animals, effects, sound, utilities, lights, transport, outdoors, and indoor. All of them are libraries of Lumion where we will find native geometry, very easy to use, and super interesting for create great atmospheres in our projects.